we knew this was a problem when they had the grain discussion. So they're trying to get the grain out of Ukraine recently. And
with the bearings of the tracks.
Well, the width, right? So Soviet track or Russian track is much wider than European track. So they couldn't just take the trains from Ukraine and just take them to a European port, because they'd have to get them off the trains onto the new trains and then drive them to the ports of Europe to then ship them around the world. So if you look at this map here, I'll zoom in a bit. This is a Trans-Asian railway network. So if you're looking at the red stuff, that is old Soviet or Russian lines. Some of it is Trans-Siberian and some of it obviously is Soviet. And that's all, on the Russian gauge, so the Russian size of track. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. But yeah, you can see then that like all of the Central Asian countries have that gauge. They have Russian gauge. So if you're looking over here, you've got Dushanbe, which is obviously in Uzbekistan. Then you've got Turkmenabad, which is in Turkmenistan. So you can see all of these guys have got the red track, and that goes all the way to the Caucasus, etc. But what we're looking at now, what the SCO's projects is basically linking up these gray parts. So if you see the gray part here, you've got the green is Chinese. So that's the Chinese tracks, which are, I think, 1,000 mils or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's smaller than the Russian one. You can see Urumqi there. So that's Xinjiang. It does link up here. So at that point there, the trains have to stop and then offload. Okay. But over here, you actually have no connection. So the SCO, the deals that they've signed recently is about linking up these gray areas. So between China and Kyrgyzstan, and then obviously you also have that, like we said, the Afghanistan line, but of course that one is by truck. It's not as developed. And then you also have stuff in the middle here with, I believe, Mongolia. Yeah, Mongolia. So that's what the Belt and Road looks like. You're talking about building these gray areas and linking stuff up globally. I mean, obviously it does also go down here into Vietnam and stuff, but that's not really the subject of today's discussion. But yeah, that's the integration that was lost and disrupted when you broke up the Soviet Union. And this SCO is a partial, reemergence of connecting the world again, and connecting at least that part of the world again. Yeah.
And that with the tracks, it's such a simple problem to sort of overlook. Like, I don't think most people would even have ever realized that you think trains are trains and tracks are tracks, and you think that everybody uses a slightly different version that's completely incompatible with each other's. But obviously, that's such a huge problem to try and overcome, but such an easy one to overlook.